This is Letitia Miller recording for the incoming curriculum specialist on August 3rd, 2016. I am in the program and course approval handbook, which explains how we get our curriculum processed at the state level and the regulations to which the state holds us, the colleges, and therefore you as the curriculum specialist accountable to when you go about submitting curriculum to the state for consideration and approval. This is the Bible for that process. And as I mentioned in a previous video, we are working from the Program and Course Approval Handbook 5th edition, which is pending replacement by the forthcoming 6th edition, which has been promised to the colleges for about 2 years now. So bear in mind as we're looking at this document that it is no longer current, however, it is the official reference guide. So bearing in mind that limitation, what I want to talk to you about is this idea of curriculum being changed. So if we take active courses, active programs, meaning those courses that are already on the books at the Chancellor's office, when the curriculum process locally goes about changing a course or program, in the eyes of the Chancellor's office, those changes are either substantial or non-substantial. So here we have under section 1, we'll just see that, section 1, the Chancellor's Office Curriculum Review. It is a subheader here, amendment, substantial change versus non-substantial change. Your work is going to be sorted at many levels according to these distinctions. Now, depending on which system you're using, be it the Chancellor's Office, DataTel, or even the product of the college catalog, what implies a substantial versus non-substantial change kind of varies, but you're going to have that figured out within a year or so. In this context, this very official context, it comes to mean those changes which profoundly affect the State Chancellor's Office ability to track and record what is happening at the colleges. So a course philosophically is substantially changed in the eyes of the state when the meaning of the course is different enough from the previous version of the course that they want to generate a new unique identifier for it. So the state doesn't see it as an exact replica of its previous version. The inventory pivots around this control number or this CB00 number or the unique ID, depending on which system you're looking at. It is how the college generates apportionment for our courses. The control number is the way that the college uniquely identifies a course or program in and among all the course and programs offered in the California community colleges. So this number is very important. The rules distinguishing a non-substantial change and a substantial change have not really changed in my years of working with Chancellor's Office review processes. They, in this document, provide a helpful table to help you distinguish what you need to do with a given proposal. It's not very easy to find in this document, but I'm going to take us there. I happen to know that it is on page 45 because I went looking for it. So let's get us there, 32. All right, so it's called Table 7, Amend Action Definitions, which is not very intuitive for you as a user to find, but the idea is what it is that you have to do at the state to facilitate your change. What action do you need to take within their inventory based upon what's happening with your course or program? So this table gives an overview of those things, and it bears worth mentioning that you need to know what some of these values are, but I will explain those. Here we have the actions sorted into the table that in 2013 you could do a correction to a record, you could do a substantial change to a record, or you could do a non-substantial change to a record. You can also take an active course and make it inactive. Please note, Columbia College refers to the process of inactivating. They call it discontinuing. So that will be kind of a technical jargon thing you'll have to remember. There will be a lot of those in this job. And you can also take an inactive course and make it active. They also talk about control numbers. So here is the table that can help you discern it. So a substantial change is a new program or course based upon an active proposal. This action will initiate a new control number. Now, think about this control number. It needs to go in DataTel. And when we work with DataTel courses and programs, you will see that the control number lives in a certain location in DataTel for courses and for programs. That control number is going to tie into our SLOs. It ties into degree audit, and it actually will eventually attach to student records. So understand that this is a very important element that you are the shepherd of. Okay, so when you're looking at courses, think about you're going to have a course that's been modified through the curriculum process. They might have changed the title, they changed the description, they changed the contents or the objectives or the textbooks or the hours of instruction. Well, each of those elements has a very important role in the classroom for the instructor. But in the Chancellor's office, many of them aren't even really visible unless you look at the course outline of record. However, those coding elements that we talked about in the intro to CurricuNet, this is what the Chancellor's office is looking at. And this is shorthands for the coding elements that you will see on the Codes and Dates page in CurricuNet. CB03, which is the course top code, right? We talked about the top code. CB04, which is the course credit status. CB06, etc. So what this is saying to you is that if you change any of those elements, if those are affected, if the credit status goes from degree applicable, credit degree applicable to non-degree applicable, that is considered a substantial change. If you change the top code, so if you go from a vocational top code to a non-vocational top code, that's considered a substantial change, and it will generate this new control number that will need to be attached to that course in other systems that we use. If we're dealing with a degree or certificate program, here is something to bear in mind. Programs at the Chancellor's office means that the college is approved to offer curriculum in a given topical area or a program area. When a college is approved to offer a program, they are approved to offer a program in a top code area. So it stands to reason, though, that we can have a degree and a certificate offered in the top code because we have different types of students. One might want to get a degree, one might want to get a certificate, but they can be offered in the same top code. As long as you understand the differences, the functional differences between a degree or certificate, we can see how that would happen. However, say we have a program in an associate degree for transfer in chemistry, and that's the only award that's offered at the college in that program area or in that top code. But then the faculty decide that they want to create a regular AS degree as opposed to an AS for transfer. Very unlikely, but let's hypothetically speaking. If they were to try to add a new chemistry award in the already existing chemistry program, that is considered a substantial change. And if the other reason for a substantial change of the program is when you do a top code change to a different top code discipline. When I was at Modesto, this happened because many of our computer graphics courses had been approved in the discipline of graphic design. Well, if you look really closely at the top code, at the time, graphic design at Modesto was focused around our printing and lithography department, which is more about the output of printed goods. But the computer graphics program was moving more in a multimedia direction, either websites or animation, etc., which has very little to do with printing and lithography. So at some point they decided to change the top code from being the graphic design, printing, and litho top code to being the digital media top code, and this was considered a substantial change.